Alright, ladies and gentlemen, one of the claims that I made when I decided we were going to do the version show, that if somebody came up to me during the course of the show and said, I've never ever done comedy before, but I feel like I want to do it tonight, I would let them go. Fortunately, most of you motherfuckers were scared to death, except for this one dude. So, sir, if you don't mind, please bring y'all, ladies and gentlemen, just make some time.
Thanks for staying around. So as Ralph said, I'm losing my virginity right now with you. If it isn't anything like the last time I lost my virginity, I can only expect by the end of this that I'll be crying, and you'll be crying, and I'll be bleeding, and you're my uncle. All of you are my uncle. It's really weird. How you guys been? I haven't seen you since that thing. So when I was a kid, I really was into, saving sex till marriage. I really wanted to keep my virginity until I got married. And at this point, I'm kind of just like, I'll probably never pay for sex with a dude. It's at that point right now. Because you might not know it from just looking at me, but I've never actually had sex with a guy. Yeah, I'm not rolling it out. But a lot of people say, that you have to physically initiate something with a guy to actually be considered gay. But I don't necessarily know if that's true, because I've got this roommate, and theoretically, I could spend one long Sunday afternoon just sucking this dude's dick, giving him the best blowjob of his life, and it would still only be like the third gayest thing we've ever done. Like the other day, I was in my bedroom and I stepped on a staple and it came off in my foot. He heard my distress cries, crossed the hallway, and pulled it out for me while I was in nothing but my underwear. That's pretty fucking gay. You don't really need to be inside a dude for that to be that level. We're learning Elvish together, like the language, like Lord of the Rings Elvish. You understand how intimate of a relationship you have to have with another human being. Be like, hey man, you want to learn a make-believe language with me? And for him to in turn look at you and be like, boy, do I ever? That is something that is almost exclusively reserved for people who are fucking each other in the asshole on the regular. So sure, we've never actually technically touched each other, but if our parents knew, they'd be concerned. I go throughout my day, and I do this thing. You might do it too. You probably have another name for it. This is what I like to call it. I collect what I like to call ammunition to kill myself, which is basically, it's just thoughts. Where I'll go throughout my day, and periodically, randomly, I'll just think of embarrassing shit I did at some point in my life. Just as long as I did it. And these are thoughts that are basically like, if I had the gun in my hand, and it was like, I don't know, man, should I do it? And that thought came to mind, and be like, oh, of course you should do it. What are you doing? You're like, lock down on that trigger, get that job done. I'll give you an example. I was at Chipotle the other day, and here's the thing with fucking up your order anywhere. If you do it at the end, that's okay. You've been talking for almost 15 seconds. You're a human being, you're gonna make errors. But when you fuck up your order right from the get-go, you invalidate yourself. You're just out. And so the cashier says to me, white or brown rice. And I'm so focused on exactly what I want that I just blurt out, black beans. And I said it just like that. And I had no idea why. It was like my brain had an abortion. And I was just left with the afterbirth like, oh fuck. And I had to deal with that now. And I'll be honest, that one's not the worst one ever. That happened at Chipotle. That happened at the proper venue. It would have been way worse if it happened at a bank. If they were just like, oh, let me check into savings. I just went black beans and shit my pants and just pop them out. Try not to make eye contact with anyone. That's a bad one. That's one that you take the gun and you shoot yourself in the foot first, just so you can die feeling some pain to punish you for how stupid you are. Another one happened at work one time. I used to work with this girl who was like my age, and she was an alive human being who was a female, so I was like, alright, let's go, let's make this work. And she always acted very, very flirtatiously towards me, which I tried to reciprocate in turn. And she was interrupting me one time when I was working, and I turned to say to her, hey, stop interrupting a man's hard work, because that's what I think flirting is, because I went to a community college in the Midwest. Yeah. You shouldn't, there's millions of people who do that, you shouldn't laugh. But, they all need your donations. But that's not the worst part, because I didn't say, don't interrupt a man's hard work. What I said was, don't interrupt a hard man's work, which is significantly more forward. And that's where flirting abruptly and suddenly turns to sexual harassment. So I found the line, you know, I was just one brain abortion away from discovering it. So I can't see her anymore. Well, that's not true. I can't talk to her anymore. I still see her when I look in her windows and shit. But, you know, at this point, you kind of have a good idea of who I am, so I should just say that if at any point in the day when you see me, you should know that I'm in a 12-hour cycle where I've either masturbated in the last 12 hours, or in the next 12 hours, I will be masturbating. And so my question for you is, at what point in the day is the best time to talk to me? Because most people think it's at the end. Because, like, you know, 12 hours ago, that's a long time. It's been like a whole day. And that's true. But you also know that as soon as your conversation is done with me, I'm going to fucking town. And you're the last person I spoke to. I'm probably still thinking of you. That's all I got.
Mason JD, correct?
Mitchell.
Mitchell? That's not what you wrote, white boy. You wrote Mason.
You can call me Mason.
All right,
Mason.
Y'all get it from Mason's first time.